Alright, this is gonna be an interesting one. Today we're shooting some ancient Kodak film that's 3 decades expired. So you know Kodak Gold, the basic 200 speed film that can be found anywhere and is usually sold alongside Color Plus or Ultramax. For a cheap film, it's pretty good. I've shot it a bunch of times and the results never disappoint. And it's also available for really cheap in medium format, which I really appreciate. However, back in the heyday of film, Kodak Gold was actually a whole lineup of film, not just one single film stock. There was Kodak Gold 100, 200, 400, and even all the way up to 1000, which Kodak very aptly named Royal Gold. To be honest, I decided to make this video not because I wanted to get my hands on the film, but rather the film packaging. Because look at how absolutely gorgeous this packaging is. The modern stuff that Kodak puts out can't even hold a candle to these OG box designs. It's just so beautiful. I love how the gold text is actually made from reflective foil. And look at this. What do you mean official film of the Olympic Games? This thing is straight up just a historical artifact from another era. So yeah, I really just wanted to own these boxes, just as wall decor. I mean, the Kodak designers were really cooking with this one. But obviously the boxes came with the film inside, and I decided that it would be a waste if I didn't shoot it for the channel, so here we are. Seeing the wide array of film choices we used to have, and comparing it to what we have now is a little depressing, but oh well, I guess that's what makes shooting these rare expired film stocks all the more exciting. So yeah, let's get into it. So before I even started work on this video, I told myself to go into it with zero expectations because anything can happen when you shoot expired film. I shot 5 slightly expired Fuji film stocks in a previous video, but this is on a whole other level altogether. All these Kodak film stocks are pretty badly expired. We're talking around 30, maybe even 30 plus years of expiration. This film expired 12 years before I was born. So yeah, if we even get any pictures out of these rolls, I'll consider that a win. I mean, the start of the video already showed some of the pictures, so I guess I spoiled it. Yes, there were pictures. I mean, if not, this video wouldn't even exist. The rule of thumb for exposing expired color negative film is to add 1 stop of light per 10 years of expiration. It's a very rough rule of thumb, and if you want to be precise, you have to factor in other stuff like the storage conditions. But this is Singapore, and I fully expect these film stocks to just be stored in somebody's humid storage closet for up to like 30 years on end. And since it's always safer to overexpose color negative film, I just decided to overexpose all these film stocks by 3 stops of light. With that, let's load in our first roll of film, which is the Kodak Gold 400. And 400 is a really nice speed for film, but because of the expiration we have to bring it down to ISO 50, which is a shame really. After a really unsatisfying box opening, we can get a glimpse at the canister itself. I decided that the best conditions to shoot these expired Kodak Gold film stocks were bright sunny days, for those warm, retro, nostalgic pictures. It's kinda what this film stock was made for, I mean like Kodak Gold, so you know, it felt right. As soon as I saw the full suns on the weather app, I grabbed my f2 and was out the door. Our first stop, Genio. I came here for the previous video, but I decided to come back for some interiors. The light rays were shining through the ceiling and creating some lovely lighting on the ground, and so I whipped out my tripod and started taking some exposures. And what the hell, we're off to a really good start. For a 30-year-old expired film, this picture has no right looking this good. It's so clean. This picture is actually a stitch of 3 separate exposures taken on my 28mm lens. I tilted the camera around to take multiple pictures of the scene and then stitched it together to create this final wider shot, which features both the wooden ceiling as well as the ground floor. And yeah, it's good stuff, the colors are amazing. Here are some other pictures. The subsequent shots are where we begin to see some problems, so I'll just be upfront right now and share the laundry list of issues that I've encountered when processing my pictures from these rolls. It'll explain some of the stuff that you see in the pictures coming up, and it took a bit of investigation and research for me, but these are the conclusions that I have drawn. Number 1, the negatives had way more dust and dirt on them, way more than what is normal for me. These are the most extreme examples I have, and as you can imagine, the final pictures took quite a bit of cleaning up in Lightroom. Second, color shifts. If you take a look at the physical negatives of these expired film stocks, you'll see that instead of the usual orange-brown color of fresh film, these are something extreme like green or purple. And more importantly, when I processed these pictures, there was some inconsistent bending across the images. So yeah, a lot of the pictures which you will be seeing in this video will have gone through quite some editing. Lastly, reduced dynamic range. So if you look at the negatives again, instead of a really contrasty print on the emulsion, you'll see that my images are all looking pretty faint, but not in an underexposed kind of way. I initially thought that I underexposed, but upon closer inspection, there is information captured across the entire brightness spectrum. It's just that the whole image is just really flat and washed out. Again, attributable to expiration, and the result that this has on our images is that the shadows are very quickly crushed to black, and the highlights very quickly clip into white. Basically, inability to capture information across a wide spectrum of brightness. Which is a good segue to the next few images I shot. This scene of a building illuminated by the afternoon sun starts to show the expired film's limitations. Shadows are quickly crushed to black, but at the same time, the highlights look like they are beginning to overexpose as well. These are more examples of the limited dynamic range. The people are underexposed while the wall is beginning to clip. To be honest, the pictures are gorgeous. The whole gold theme really shines through here, as you can see. Everything looks so warm and nostalgic. With that, the Kodak Gold 400 roll was done, and next up, Kodak Gold 100. Another unsatisfying tear that made me physically cringe. And as if shooting at ISO 50 wasn't challenging enough, shooting a 30-year-old expired ISO 100 film means shooting it at ISO 12, which is crazy. I was using max aperture and dangerously slow shutter speeds even in the hot blazing sun. I do want to add that the perk of shooting such low ISOs is that it actually forced me to use my 50mm f1.2 lens wide open at f1.2 even in daylight. As I said, this lens has so much character at max aperture, which we can see here. This shot of otherwise ordinary looking office building toilets looks great here. And so does this one. And in particular this one. The softness, the flaring, the glows. Oh my goodness, it looks straight from a dream. Next up, we're back at a familiar spot, Tanjong Pagar Distripark. One of my favourite places, and I was excited to be shooting this film stock here. These pictures suffered from more weird colour blotching issues, especially in the sky, which I corrected out. And it is also here that I took this generational photo, one of the best that I think I've ever taken. The colours are lovely, and the person walking through the frame was in the perfect spot. And I was lucky to be there at this exact time, where the sun was casting these shadows at this perfect angle against the building's facade, as well as the fact that there were no other cars parked at the bottom of the block. Very serendipitous shot indeed, I love it. I climbed up the building and got this shot along the way, and at the top I shot some landscapes. I didn't see much image quality improvement going from the ISO 400 to the ISO 100 film stock, probably because the expiration just negated all the benefits of it. But whatever, I'm glad I got some nice pictures. Next, it's medium format time. I got one roll of Kodak Gold 100 in 120 format. With medium format comes higher resolution and hopefully image quality. And this film also expired in 1998, so 6 years less expired than the previous two. This first shot is nice. I took this same picture again, this time with 2 stops less light, and as you can see, the shadows are falling apart. Color negative film does not like underexposure, much less expired film. The main destination of the day is a newly renovated building in the National University of Singapore. Let's start with some interiors, and yeah, you can see these spots all over the image. A similar issue happened to me previously, shooting Delta 3200 on medium format. I'm quite sure it's caused by the adhesive between the emulsion and the backing paper. I think the adhesive ripped out some of the emulsion during the developing process, which again I think is because of the expiration. Here's what these pictures look like on fresh Portra 400. Moving exterior, the morning light was popping off. These look good. Next, we have Kodak Gold Plus, and I'm not too sure what the Plus is supposed to entail, but once again I'm taking it with a pinch of salt because of the extreme expiration. Ironically, the pictures on this roll came out the worst. There was some extreme color banding across all the pictures. I tried to correct them, which was honestly a headache, so I just focused my efforts on the few shots which I think I'm most proud of. There were also the same issues as before, like the dirty negatives as well as limited dynamic range. But what do you know? I managed to save quite a few pictures and I like them. Again, these were mostly shot at f1.2, which explains the dreamy softness. This in particular is my favorite from the roll. It looks like a vintage photo dug up from the 70s. There's just something to it. And last but not least, I went to Geylang to clear out the rest of the roll, so enjoy the pictures. Finally, I had a 12 exposure roll of Kodak Gold 3, and initially I was like, a 12 exposure roll in this economy? And I should have known that something was up when the box was in such bad condition, but when I opened it up, the film bottle was literally sandy, cracked and muddy. Then the film lid literally disintegrated while I was opening it. The whole thing was rusty, sandy, and left a disgusting brown residue on my hands. This shit genuinely felt like it was dug up from an Egyptian tomb, and now I have the curse of Ra for 5 generations. There was no way I was going to put this crusty ass canister into my camera, so I said f this, threw it into the nearest dustbin, and ran away before I could take any more poison damage. Yeah, I was not expecting that. That was quite the eye-opening experience. Truly goes to show that anything can happen with expired film. Let's move on to conclusions, I guess. I guess the moral of the story is that, yeah, anything can happen with expired film. And I did experience some of those issues firsthand, like dirty and discolored images. Be prepared to do a lot more editing work to make your images even salvageable. Was it worth it? I could have made my life a lot easier if I shot normal, fresh film, and to some extent my images would be better as well. No dust, color shifts, or whatsoever. 30 years of expiration is crazy. I mean, the absorption of ambient radiation during that period probably already equates to a few passes through an airport X-ray scanner. But I want to say that for the pictures that did turn out well after all the corrections and editing I did, they just look so damn good. I can't really put my finger on it, but these few images especially encapsulate the vintage retro vibe so damn well. It's like nothing I've ever shot before, even on film. These pictures genuinely look special, like from the past. Whether it's genuinely the way these old film stocks rendered colors, or just a happy coincidence from the shooting and editing process, I will never know. But hey, that's the joy of film photography, isn't it? Anyway, the point of this video was to test out these expired film stocks, which I did, and I'm glad that I got some really nice images to show for my efforts. Hopefully you guys can take something away from watching this, especially if you're considering to shoot similarly expired film. Although I feel I need to take a break from all the intense photo editing, as well as from the efforts of shooting at ISO 12. ISO 12 is crazy. Like, even in broad daylight, if one cloud rolls in and blocks out the sun, then I'm cooked. I need a tripod. It's actually quite insane and genuinely made shooting challenging. I'm kinda glad this video is over actually. So the next time you shoot Kodak Gold, remember the long line of ancestors from which it came. And Kodak, please bring back your old film packaging designs. I promise you, more people will buy your film if you do. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching.